Hi, everybody. I'm Spike Brave, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about Spike Brave. I decided to create a messages section for my YouTube channel that I can place messages in and that it's easy for me to find communication from the people who are viewing my channel. I recently received a thumbs up from PGI in their weekly community spotlight that said, hey, go check out Spike Brave's tutorials. So when that occurred, I actually hit 100 subscribers as well. So not only did I want to say thanks to the folks at PGI, I want to say thanks to all my viewers, whether you have subscribed or not. I'm glad that a lot of people are finding this useful, and it's been helpful for at least a sizable segment of the community, I hope. So I decided to take this opportunity to not only to say thanks, but let you know who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've been playing BattleTech for about 25 years, and I'm a computer application engineer by trade, so the mechanics of the game are something that's interesting how they've implemented to me. So I try to find out that stuff and provide that information to the player base. Um, about a year ago, I started getting really heavily involved in new player help forums, and there were a lot of really good write ups provided. And I think those write ups are awesome, and I thank the people that started doing those. I decided to do videos for a couple personal reasons. Number one, and number two, have to do with me as a person. I'm dyslexic and I'm a visual learner. Those write ups were really well done and very, very well thought out, very good technical writing. But I struggled with them because I'm dyslexic and a visual learner. So I decided to make some videos because personally I would find that more helpful, not to beg on anything that's been done in the write-ups. Those are spectacular. But personally, I find those a little bit easier to interact with, so I wanted to provide that. And sometimes it's just a little bit easier if someone shows you rather than tells you. So I decided to provide that, especially after they got some involvement from some video game YouTubers who they asked to do a special about the game, and they did a very good job for their channels, but it was very short, and they didn't necessarily understand all the mechanics. So I decided to sit down and figure some stuff out, and at times I'll even go out and to the forums and private message one of the devs and ask, how does this exactly work, so I can get some information about it and relay that to the players so we can make some good decisions about some of the equipment we're using. If you've seen my technical readout section, there's something very important I would like to point out about that is I am definitely not trying to tell you how to play the game. For me, what the big thing that I want players to come away with is an understanding of why they're doing what they're doing and that they're doing something they think is fun. I don't want to tell you that this mech is the best. If you put this weapon on it, you'll always win. Well, number one, it's not true. If it doesn't fit your playstyle, you're going to struggle with it. Personally, a big example for that for me is the Timberwolf. If I build the Timberwolf builds that the top level players say these are the best things ever, I struggle. I can't get anything done because it doesn't fit my playstyle. So if you see my technical readout videos, how I do those is I build a mech that fits my playstyle to give you a place to start seeing how this mech can perform. It's meant to give you a jumping off point. Please feel free to modify those and do whatever you'd like with them. It's meant more as a, I really don't understand this battle mech. Where do I start? This is where you start, not how you should be necessarily at the end. I don't think there's any battle mech in this game that is so good that you can just be, I don't want to say bad, but you can't just go out there and make bad decisions. If you stand out in the middle of your field and just take shots from the enemy, I don't care how good your mech is, you're going down. And there's also no mech in this game that is so bad that no matter how well you play it, you can't be successful. They've done a great job of balancing these mechs against each other. So you can be successful in anything that you play with. So I want to give people a place to start. And also about those technical readout videos, the reason that I don't have a lot of them on there is because what I do is I go out and I build the mech. And then I play 100 matches in it to see if that battle mech's performing. What I'm looking for is a positive win-loss and a positive kill-death. Now, that may not always be possible, so I do kind of look at those statistics and what's going on. If I'm playing something like an assault, like a Daishi, or a dire wolf as they call it in the game, they're slow. They rely on the team to support you. So if I'm having a lower win loss ratio, but a really, really high KDR, I think that mech's performing okay. So I just want to let people know that's how I do those videos. I do play 100 matches in them to make sure that I'm giving you some advice that I have been successful with. But as always, please feel free to modify these things to better fit your playstyle. That is the most important thing. And I also wanted to let people know why I don't have a whole ton of videos about every single BattleMech chassis, because I'm taking the time to go through them and provide you with a good, solid starting point. Something else I like to do is kind of explain the lore and where this comes from. The MechWarrior franchise as a video game has been around since the 90s, and a lot of people are familiar with those games. What maybe not a lot of people are familiar with is the Battletech board game that inspired those video games. And that was, I'd have to say, the board game was probably in its heyday in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, and provide some of that lore, because what they've done with the MechWarrior game, with the MechWarrior Online game, is harken back to those old BattleTech rules. So I'm trying to give you some information about why they're doing the things they're doing and how the mechanics behind that work to give you some better information so you can build a mech that makes sense without just being told, hey, go put X equipment on there because it's the best stuff ever. And you may not understand why. So that's really what I'm trying to do. And then finally, what I decided to do for my own personal experience with Battletech, what I've always enjoyed was playing the lone wolf, the mech warrior who shows up to fill out the spot that is empty because, whatever, you're short a guy, some guy died on the battlefield, and you need that one mech to go out there. That part of the lore has always been appealing to me, and that's kind of where I do my videos from. Is the point of the kind of Joe Public player that's not in a team, not in a group, and is just playing the game to have some fun. There's a lot of really competitive players out there that have really good units. If that's what you're looking for, I would suggest going out to the forums. There's a whole section there to find those units. But what I'm aiming at is those players that want to play for a few minutes or a few hours or however long, a couple times a week, and play by themselves and be successful doing that. So if you ever see me in a match, you might see that I have a tag, a unit tag. That's my unit, and I'm the only one in it. I have that unit because I did a tutorial on how to create a unit, and it's out there for if it becomes really important for gameplay to have a unit or it gives you some benefits. I just hung on to it because I want to be able to say, hey, you're a new player, you can join my unit, get some of those benefits, and you don't have to show up every Tuesday, every Wednesday, or whatever rules some units have about you have to show up every so often and do certain things. That's just not what I'm about. I just want to drop when I'm ready, play for as long as I want, and then quit when I'm done. So that's the player I'm aiming at talking to when I make these videos. So you'll see me talk about things that are really different than people like Sean laying out on the MechWarrior forums. He's in a unit, he's very good, but when you're in a unit versus playing by yourself, there's some things that change. So I want to give you that information about when you're playing by yourself, you might want to do this instead because you're by yourself. You don't have somebody supporting you. Let's take a look at a Lance organization. You can have a missile boat with a spotter and then a brawler to get up close. That works really well together. The brawler can get up close while the missile boat, and let's also throw a sniper in there. So the missile boat and the sniper are giving that brawler cover as he gets up. The missile boat can see his targets because he's got a spotter. Well, if you take one of those builds into a solo match and you're all by yourself, you don't guarantee to have the rest of the team that you need to be successful. So I try to build mechs that are successful by themselves to give that solo player who plays by himself an opportunity to go out there and be successful. Um, I said at the beginning of the video, I want to thank everybody that's subscribed or has viewed my channel. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, but if you don't feel it necessary to do so, that's fine too. I just want to say thanks a lot. I hope everybody's enjoying this. If there is a tutorial you'd like to see or a question that you have, please feel free to leave me a note. I will do the best that I can to get those out there. And as always, have great luck on the battlefield, and I hope to see you there. Thanks a lot.